Hello, Modified Rabbit here. For those of you new, welcome to my channel, and for those of you that are returning, welcome back. If you haven't already, please hit the like and subscribe button. Would be greatly appreciated. um, I'm hoping my sound is doing all right. I'm trying to use my um, mic from my headphones, so I don't, I don't know if it's working well or not. So I'm hoping if you guys can't hear me, if there's someone in here, you guys can tell me whether or not it's working well or not. So I'm really hoping that it is, because I know that the webcam mic is not good and makes a really like high pitched noise. I don't know if this is going to help it or not. So awesome. So I have my partner over there kind of like trying to listen in, said it's good. So I'm glad. All right, so today we're doing the Karity matte palette. Karity is not a super well-known brand. I think it should be, because they've got some really good prices, and I have, swatched the couple of palettes that I do have, obviously, and used them. They actually do have pretty nice quality stuff for the price and whatnot. So but yes, today we are going over their matte palette. As you can see, I've kind of used up this green. That was because I actually used that on my face for some like contouring stuff for a look a long time ago. So that's more used than it's actually been on my eyelids. So it's not, anyway, sorry if you hear my dog. He's being a little turd. But yeah, we're going to swatch this, do a look, and review it today. So also, since I do have one liquid lip from Karity, we are going to go ahead and go over this as well, which I'm going to take these out for, so that I can properly apply that really well. We'll probably do that after doing the eye look, because I don't like to do lip looks until kind of like the end of a look or anything. So we'll do this after, and then while I'm doing the review for the palette, we'll let it set and everything, and then we'll see how it does with how long or how well it stays and everything like that, and do a review last on this. So we're doing Karity products today. Yeah, so I guess we'll go ahead and get started, and we'll pull this plastic off this palette and get us some makeup wipes, and we will go ahead and start swatching this. So again, this is the matte palette, and if you guys end up liking this palette and want me to review the other Karity palettes I have the Picante and I have the Frost palette. So I would love to get the smoky palette that they have one of these days. But yeah, I believe the price points on their palettes are mostly under $30. I don't believe I've seen any that are over 30 so far. It's been a little, it's been a minute since I visited their site, since I haven't been able to afford to get more palettes since the last time. But as far as price point goes, they're not too horrible. They're usually around like 20-25 bucks, maybe 30 tops, and a lot of times you can get them for a lot cheaper if you're just signing up for their emails or texts and stuff like that, which you can always unsign up for if you don't want to get the notifications. I like them because I like to know when makeup companies that I enjoy are having really good sales. So all right, again, we are this is going to be as unbiased as possible, as I can get it. And let's turn this light down just a little bit for swatching purposes. And yeah, I'm doing softer white light, like daylight lights in there in the two lights over here, so I'm hoping it helps a little bit. Again, once I finally get the other ring light in that I have, I'll be able to use that instead and hopefully do better with the lighting. I'm really hoping that, again, that using my headphone mic and having it kind of pointing this way will actually take care of the high-pitched noise that was going on with this stupid webcam, as well as the webcam not having a very good pull for my voice. I did listen to a couple of the videos, and it was kind of, couldn't hear quite that great. It kind of sounded a little muffled to me. So, so hopefully this helps for now until I can get the camera bundle that I wanted with the mic and everything. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and swatch these. We've got this Caress, Whisper, and Cancun in these first colors. So we'll go ahead and now these feel very, very like velvety, these mattes right here. So we're gonna see how these swatch and whatnot. And this is like a white shade, so that's gonna like this first and second shade are pretty close to, I'm pale, so skin color wise. But you can see them pretty good because it's pretty good pigment, and it came off my fingers pretty well too, so it doesn't stick to my fingers. Now that might pull up the question of, is it going to stick well to your lids though? That's the thing. So very pretty colors. All right, I'm gonna get this makeup wipe out of y'all. So those are the first three. The next three are going to be Alexi, Enchant, and Feign. I'm not sure what kind of theme they are going with these names, but I don't really like, from what I've experienced so far with the Karity palettes, sometimes their names to their shades are just really don't match the the theme of the palette itself. But this doesn't have any theme to the name of the palette other than matte, so I guess they can name them whatever they want. All right, these are some fun colors right here. So very pretty purple. We got us a blue and a softer light blue. It's kind of stuck to that blue kind of stuck to my fingers real good, but they're fairly solid. I would think maybe from what it's looking like, might need to apply it twice rather than just one solid application. Hello, Bandit. Thank you for joining my lives. Like, I think you've been here every time. I appreciate it. But yes, this last color is the Feign, and it's actually kind of got a slightly green minty tint to it. Very, very slight though. So, all right, we've got Sinful for this next one, and that's the last of the first row actually. Luxuria for the second, and then I think it says Coquette. I have no clue how to pronounce that. All right, we're going to go on the side of my arm right here because I don't feel like wiping it off yet. So we got that gray. I'm going to smooth that out a little. There's another white. This is like an off-white shade, so it's going to be very light on my skin. So you can see it go onto the tattoo a little bit. And then we've got this Coquette shade. Sorry about my arm hair. So those are the colors so far. So we've got a couple of fun colors so far. Mostly kind of more neutral-ish colors, but we're going to start getting into, it looks like it goes from like a light to, the darker, more pigmented looking shades the further down this palette we go. So we're going to get into these fun colors here in a second. Just wipe all those off and get that dry, because these makeup wipes are actually pretty good. I've been using these Equate makeup wipes for now. I've got a whole bunch of makeup wipes, different brands, and waiting for me to try out. So I'm very excited about this one. It is almost out. So, alrighty, let's get into these next colors. NSFW. This is a red shade. I'm very excited about this one. It's been a Taki. There's a person running around, riding around on a four-wheeler back there, so he's all upset about it. Sorry if he barks. But yeah, it's been a very long time since I've swatched this palette, so I'm excited to revisit and whatnot. So we've got this NSFW. Okay, so it does, looks like a little bit of an orange tint right over red. So this one is Lumbia. It's a nice pink. And then we've got Ego. I've got a nice deep purple right there. Look at that. I like that purple. Okay, so these don't seem as pigmented as I would hope. But again, we'll see exactly how well they do when it gets to the lid, because as we've learned with the sugar pill brand stuff, uh, not everything shows up well on, you know, the swatching for your wrist and whatnot as it does really well on your lids. So we'll see how well those work out later. We'll figure out what, I definitely want to try out the black and stuff on my lids, and we'll figure out what other color, maybe the red, maybe red and purple and then black or something, because I want to kind of do something to match the lip color. All right, so we've got Wicked, which is a light green, Nimbus, which is a brown shade, and that's the last of that second row, and then Tweety, which is a nice little yellow shade. All right, it's Wicked, nice little light green. It's Nimbus. I don't know why they called this Nimbus, but I don't think of a cloud or anything when I'm looking at that. And then there's Tweety, which I really like. Kind of grabbed a lot. That is a pretty color right there. I like that one. All right, let's get these wiped off, and we can get the last of these swatched. All right. Can't wait to get into these. I'm thinking about doing, I got another order, like it was super cheap. Sugar Pill had like a big sale on like their little Star Twins stuff. So I got the palette for super duper cheap and the liquid lip duo for like really cheap. Is like $5 for two of them. So like I'm very excited about that. And I got a couple of single shades and lashes and stuff. So maybe we'll do those next week. All right, let's see. We've got Vegas, which is an orange, Unsafe, which is another shade of brown, and then Huntress, which is a very deep brown shade. Very, very nice orange shade. Got, that brown is not that great. This one's nice though. Yeah, look at that. That one's nice. All right. Pretty good. Ooh, we get to try a very dark blue with this next one. Okay, these are the last three. We've got Phantom. It's a deep blue. Medusa, which is a nice deep green. And then Disturbia, which is a black. So we'll see how well this black does. We got Phantom, Medusa, and Disturbia. Disturbia feels a little rough right there. So I'm wondering how well that's gonna go. All right. That is kind of a streaky blue right there. Kind of same with this green. That black is nice though. Ooh, look at that. Yeah, we're gonna use that for like a liner kind of thing. Though it does look like it might need a second coating for when we use it anyways, to make it a very super solid black. The reason why I chose this Karity palette over, you know, the other two, which I do enjoy more than this one, is because it is a nice, not the best and not the worst type thing. Definitely not my favorite of the Karity palettes, but they're not horrible. So I wanted to make sure I used a palette that, you know, I could give a nice, it's, you know, or I'm not gonna, obviously, if I'm gonna try and do the Picante palette, I'm very likely to just be like, oh my goodness, you know, because it is an amazing palette, the Picante one, but there are a couple bad spots to it, but for the most part, it's pretty great. So I wanted to start with a palette that was kind of a, to me, like a mid-tier quality palette from Karity. So this is actually, you know, probably one of my least favorite palettes from Karity, but it's still pretty decent. So I'm going to go ahead and review that for you guys. Start with something that's kind of a mid tier type thing. All right, so as usual, we've got the primed side for the eyes and the non-primed side. Let me turn this light up just a little bit. There we go. Get a little bit of an even. Let me see if I can get. Oh yeah, that's too bright. It's just one too bright. It's like there's no middle. I can't get it exactly the same as this side, but that's all right. Alrighty. Now, I'm thinking we're going to use this red, that deep purple, and the black. I think those would be very pretty. So we're going to start with the red and get like a nice base, you know, base color down for that. So let's get that on a brush. It's looking like it does not want to go onto that brush very well. Get in there. All right. Oh yeah, that does not want to transfer that well. That is going to take a lot of layering for the unprimed side. I'm very curious to see if it's any different for the primed side. It's a very soft red. We'll go with 3 layers for each of these colors on both sides, and we'll see how they do to kind of give it a decent chance. Any more layers than that, and that's too much for my liking to want to have to do. I don't want to have to build it more than 3 times to be able to get a nice solid shade out of that, you know? That's too much. Yeah. Okay, 3 is okay. It still looks like it might take 1 or 2 more, you know, to build it up, and that's too much. So, all right, we're gonna switch it over to this other eye. Let's see how it works with the primed side. Okay, well, it's sticking better, but it doesn't look like it wants to spread very well at that point, so I have doubts about its blending properly on primed eyes. Okay, that's the second application. Definitely doing better than the non-primed side so far for pigment anyway. Not much better though. And it's not wanting to like blend out at all. Like it does not want to spread properly. So we're having a little bit of streaky patchy issues. Not okay for me. See? So there is definitely, you can see there is definitely a big difference, the primed side and the non-primed. As you can see, it's a lot more solid of a color. You can see the color, the red shade or whatever. It looks a little slightly orange. You can see the shade. but also at the same time it's very hard to get it to, you know, spread out properly. So it's still going to take more than 3 applications if you want to do your whole entire lid, I'm sure. So that's kind of a not cool thing for me. But we're going to go ahead and go on to the next color, which we're going to do with this purple. Maybe the purple will do better. I know reds are very hard for a lot of companies. So let's start with this side. Ooh, okay, see, that purple is doing a lot better with applying solid and nice. So we're gonna try and go up here a little bit, and we're gonna try and see about kind of covering up these little patchier parts of the red, you know? And then we'll see how well they blend. We're gonna go up here a good bit because I'm just feeling it, because we're gonna have a nice, very prominent lip shade. So we want to help draw a little bit of attention to the eyes and make sure we got a cool, you know, like very look at me type eye look. Okay, so that's just one. We're going to be doing 3 for each color, just whether it needs it or not. This one, it looks like it might only need 2. Yeah, it's doing a nice solid. Oh yeah, it's a nice solid color with just 2 layers. So the 3rd layer will probably be unnecessary, but we're going to do it anyway, just so that it's fair on all the shades that we use. Alrighty, there we go. We got that. That is a beautiful shade. That looks very pretty. That is a very nice shade. I like that. So I think they're just having problems with their red. Alright, I'm going to go in on the primed side and see how it works. Go over here and kind of there we go. So that's one layer. It doesn't seem like it's going on quite as solid on the prime side as the other, but we'll find out once we get all done with all the layers. All right. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be taking as well as the other side. One more. It's still a nice solid color though. There we go. That 3rd layer got it real good. And we're gonna go ahead and see how well they blend. I assume this purple is probably gonna blend out pretty well. You know what I want to do? I kind of want to use this purple on the inner corner just a little tiny bit. Oh, I have this BH Cosmetic brush is awful. But I use them because I need to wash my other brushes, honestly. So let me get that, kind of connect these right here and do like a little bit of the inner corner with this purple. We're just going to do one layer of that. Well, it looks much better on this side. Okay, very pretty. I like it. Alrighty. Now, we're going to, before we get into this black shade, we're going to go ahead and see how well they blend. Okay. Try this side. Okay, the primer side is definitely much better for the blending, so very pretty. Ooh, I like that. It's much less patchy over here on the primed side than it is over here on the non-primed. All right, so let's kind of fade this out a little bit around these edges and such. Super duper prominent right there. Let's fade that out a little bit. Okay, so getting it to fade out on the prime side is a little bit harder, but we get there. It's a lot less smooth of a fade out on this side as it is the other side. But this wants to stick real nice over here. All right. So I don't know if I really want to go back. I'll go back in whatever's left over on here just to kind of redefine that just a little bit. Kind of get it to go down right in there. There we go. All right. Now we can do this black shade. We're going to use the waterliner for that because I'm not going to put it on my waterline, but it's going to be pretty close. So I'm hoping that this brush will work well for that. Don't be surprised if my dog barks at any point soon because there's a little dog outside running around outside our house. So, and he's a yappy little dog. This actually works pretty good for like a liner. I like to kind of do this weird little right there. So we're going to go ahead and grab a little bit more just to see how solid we can get it. This brush is awesome. Of course, so far all of the Sigma brushes I've tried are pretty awesome. So the only one I haven't really enjoyed is the foundation brush. I'm not really fond of using brushes on foundation, so okay, maybe we will do a little bit on the waterline. Just because I accidentally got it up there earlier and it looks kind of decent. There we go. So that's pretty good. It looks pretty good for non-prime side, so we'll see how it looks on the prime side. Slightly more solid. Again, does not want to spread that well when it comes to this prime side. It's probably going to need one more layer than what you would on non-prime, just to get it spread around, not for pigment purposes. Pigment shows up perfectly fine on the prime side. we go. Yeah. All right. So we got the primer and non-primer. As you can see, it's a little more smooth on the primed side than it is with the non-primed. So we get a good bit more of that pigment showing up with the primer, which is, you know, pretty common. So before we go over the full palette, like ups and downs, we're going to apply some of this. Pardon me if I do horrible. I just do not really like applying liquid lip. I don't generally enjoy lip stuff anyways, but I do them for looks when I need to. I also generally have like some really kind of irritating sensory issues, so it very much tickles and such when I apply things to my lip. Okay, so that's one layer. I'm debating on whether we should do a second layer on one side. I think I'm going to, just to see how well it shows up for a second layer. So this is actually pretty nice because it kind of has like a weird kind of like pops, springs back up when you're trying to re-dip it, but kind of locks it down when you're not. So we're gonna go on this side for the second layer. Much darker. Okay, so it is a good bit darker, as you can see. We'll try and, nope, that doesn't do as good. So, but it's a good bit darker on this side. Pardon me. I get sniffles when I wear makeup, so we're gonna. Okay, I don't want to do the sniffles on camera. Okay, so we do have, so far, we've got a pretty decent black with a second layer with this liquid lip. It is a little bit streaky with only one layer, but that was, the bottom part is definitely the last of that first layer. So the top is a pretty good representation of one full layer. It is solid, but it is like a more of a vinyl black look. And now that it's starting to dry on this side, it's not that much darker than the first layer since it's starting to dry. So it does look a lot more like a matte vinyl black instead of just like a solid black. So it's not like super solid black. But we're going to leave that on while I review, while we talk about the palette, and then we'll go ahead and try and wipe our lip, wipe my lip and stuff like that, and see how well that sticks. And we'll keep in mind that I did not use any lip primer or anything like that for this. So kind of keep that in mind when we get down to that. So ups and downs of this palette. I think it has a really good price point for what it is. It's pretty decent, especially if you can catch it on a sale or use like a discount code. Um, but it's got a really nice range of colors. Downside, that red is definitely very it seems to show up a little bit more orange on camera for some reason. Reds are really weird when it comes to being picked up properly and everything like that. But it's a red, but it does have a little bit of an orange tint to it. So um, that's kind of a bummer. Also, it just really does not want to show up. It's not very pigmented of a red, so that's like a huge bummer right there with this palette because I personally adore reds. So um, which it's really, I find it really funny because we're gonna reference to another Karity palette. I haven't reviewed that yet, but the Picante palette is like a very warm shaded palette, and they do amazing on that palette. But this one, they just really, with the red, they just kind of really missed it. So um, I think they did pretty good for light shades with the whites and stuff, for getting them pretty pigmented and everything. They kind of missed it on the blues as well. I assume they probably act the same as the red does since they did, with the swatches. It probably is not as pigmented on the eyes as well. But um, they did really well with like the purple. That is a very beautiful color. As you can see, it's gorgeous. So the yellow is a really good color as well, and like it's just kind of like a hit and miss palette. Like there's a couple of shades in there that they kind of missed on. They didn't get a very nice solid pigmented shade, and there's plenty of colors in here that they did very well on. That it's very nice and pigmented, especially if you get it on um, the primed eye. As you can see, that black is a pretty good black, especially if you add a second coat to it. It's a really nice shade of black. But it's got a really pretty range, for the upsides and stuff like that. It's got decent quality for its price point and everything. Again, downside is a couple of the colors are a big miss when it comes to being properly pigmented and whatnot. And a huge downside is also it does not really want to spread really well when on your primed eye. It spreads a lot better on unprimed eye, but it still blends really well. Like as you can see right here, it's blended very beautifully. It doesn't want to fade out as well, but I probably might have had a little bit better of a time fading that out with my diffuse crease brush. I was using more of a blending brush for that, so that may have had a little bit to do with it, but it did end up fading out better on the non-prime side. So it does seem to want to stick to your skin really well. So I could see the shades from this sticking throughout a good night of, you want to go out to a club or something like that, and you want your shadow to stick really well and stay. Even without setting spray, I could see this sticking pretty well throughout the night, let alone with anything like that and a good primer, because it just really loves to stick really well to the primer. So I think if you're wanting to do more of the faded stuff, smoky eye and everything, you might want to, you'll probably want to do a couple of applications of the shade that you want, and then you might have to work a little at it. But it's gonna stick real good. It still will fade out. It's just probably gonna take a little bit more work, but I feel like that's all right if you're to sacrifice that just a little bit, having to work at it just a tiny bit more in exchange for something that's going to stick with you throughout the night and stay, and you don't need to be touching up, because I don't know about you, but I really hate, the idea of having to carry around a little tiny makeup bag to, touch up throughout the night or something. Or, you get to the end of the night and your makeup's all like smeared around because you're sweaty and everything. It didn't want to stick or something like that. So, but, so yeah, I think it's kind kind of lower mid tier type palette for me. Again, it's probably my least favorite Karity palette that I've tried so far. But it's still pretty decent, especially for its price point and the fact that I think that was the first palette that I got from them. And I used a discount code, so it ended up being like $15. So it's pretty, that was pretty good. So, pardon me. So yeah, it's definitely got a couple of downsides, and whatnot, and not as amazing of on the good side. So it's definitely not up there really, really high with some of the other palettes that I've tried so far on the channel. So, but again, don't discount Karity because of that. Again, like I've said, there's a couple other palettes that I have, and one of them is absolutely amazing, and another one is more of the upper middle, type tier for me, rank wise. So, but I wanted to kind of start with a palette that can kind of show that even though I do love Karity as a brand, I'm still going to be just as harsh on them as I am any other brand that I might not like so much. So, because like I said, I like to try and be as unbiased as possible with all these reviews. So, all right. So it feels like this has dried a pretty decent bit. It does feel a little bit tacky still. It kind of feels like if I let it dry really, really good, it might be a little bit dry, because whenever I feel that kind of tacky feel while a liquid lip is drying, it just kind of, for me, that always ends up drying too dry for me. So I can see this drying a little bit, like drying out my lips. I have very dry skin and everything. I do have an issue with dry lips already. So, and I did, while I didn't apply a primer, I did have a coat of like a lip balm, like just regular, medicated lip ointment that I do just to keep my lips from drying out. So, but I can still see this drying out my lips. But anyway, let's see. We've got this side right here. This kind of, you can, now we're going to go at the second. So that does come off pretty, yeah, that comes off pretty easily. So it doesn't stick very well. I think this is kind of, yeah, it's not the best liquid lip ever. It's not horrible, but it's definitely something that'll kind of wipe off a little bit. It seems like it will stick for a little while, though. I don't think any greasy foods are going to, it's not going to hold up to greasy foods. That's definitely a thing. But I think it will hold up if you're not planning to like eat or drink. It'll hold up for a little while. I do feel like that it's going to, especially if you have dry lip issues like I do, I feel like it's going to probably crack after a few hours and stuff, and not be that great. So it's probably something you're going to have to carry with you to do a reapplication later. So, but I can't remember how much the Karity liquid lips are. They're definitely not as much as like Lime Crime and stuff like that are very high tier to me. Like I love Lime Crime liquid lips. They do really well for me. So I think it's kind of like lower mid, ranking for me for a liquid lip. It seems a little bit better quality. I have tried liquid lip from ELF. It seems a little higher quality than ELF. As well as far as shade goes, though, it is not a deep black shade. It's actually a very matte, like a matte PVC type shade of black, where it's, it's got that very slight gray hint to it. So that's not great if you're wanting a nice solid black. The ELF, that one's a more solid of a black, but it wipes off really easily. So so yeah, that's kind of a issue there. And as you can see, it is a little bit darker when you apply it a second time, but it's still got that gray tint to it. And I think no matter how many times you apply it, I think it's going to have that tint to it, because that's just the shade it is. It's not a nice solid black shade. So, but it's pretty nice. I mean, you know, if you don't care about that and you've got, you know, like you've got a matte PVC outfit like I do, I have one, it's probably going to match it pretty dang well. And it's, you know, when I go out and stuff for something like that, I have been to clubs a couple of times. I don't really partake a lot. I love to people watch. So, but when I've gone, you know, I don't usually eat or drink anything much at all. So, I mean, I think, you know, for someone like me, it will probably be a pretty good fit because, you know, it's got a good cheap price point as far as liquid lips go. It's pretty okay price point and everything, and it doesn't smear off really super easy. And I just would need to carry it with to reapply if I plan to be out for more than just a few hours. But I do prefer personally that my black liquid lips are nice solid black, but this would go really well with my, you know, matte PVC type outfit, you know, like little fake leather outfit. So so all in all, it's pretty good. Karity makes pretty decent nice mid-tier quality stuff for a nice mid-tier price. So I think anybody that's, you know, looking for something that's kind of a step up from, you know, that bad dollar store quality, you know, makeup and stuff, or ELF quality types of makeup. I love ELFs. I adore ELF. I love their skincare stuff, and some of their makeup products are pretty dang great for its price. I love their brushes for their price point as well. But they really kind of, when it comes to like eyeshadows and like liquid lips, they kind of really miss it. So this is definitely better quality than that. So if you want like a step up from that with not a giant, you know, like jump up from the price point, I think Karity will be great for like their liquid lips. Definitely amazing for their price point for their eyeshadows in general, just maybe not this matte palette. The matte palette's okay. I would definitely go for it if it's on sale or you get that discount code, you get it for like 15 bucks. That would definitely be a good price point for this palette. I honestly, though, wouldn't pay full price for this specific palette. I would for the other two that I have for sure, especially that Picante palette, but not for the matte palette. So, all in all, I think it's a pretty good, if anybody's looking to just kind of get a step up from the ELF stuff and whatnot, that's a pretty good, this matte palette, and, you know, their liquid lips are pretty decent for quality. So that would be it for this. I really hope you guys enjoyed this live. Thank you for anybody that joined in and is watching. I really hope that the sound quality is a little bit better at least. If so, I'm going to have a watch back after we're all done with this. And hopefully this will be better sound quality. If it is, then I'll just keep using, I'm actually using a mic on a headset that I have. And hopefully that ringing noise that's been happening with the lives is gone too, because if it is, then I'll definitely stick with this mic for now until I get that camera mic set that I'm eyeing to make payments on and stuff. So, but other than that, hopefully it's a little bit better quality and whatnot for the video and everything. And having some issues with my, like, little sensory issues with my hands. So, but anyhow, I really hope you guys enjoyed. I'm hoping to do again the sugar pill stuff. It's a pastel themed palette and liquid lip and stuff. Might have like a nice full set of sugar pill to do next weekend. And then maybe we'll do another Karity or an ELF palette even. You guys should totally let me know in the comments or anything like that, which ones you would like to see. I've got some ELF stuff. I've got BH Cosmetics. I've got more Karity and whatnot. So if you'd like any of those ahead of the other for not next week, but the week after, let me know and I'll pick a palette from whichever is kind of most popular, like which is most commented of what you guys would like, like the Karity, BH, ELF, type stuff. I mean, you can always toss another brand out there if you think I might have it, and I can check, my little collection of palettes and whatnot. I do have some off brands. I do have some concrete mineral stuff, even though that's loose, that's not a palette, but I do have lots of that. I think that would end up taking a couple of lives, do like the mattes in one and then the shimmer type stuff in the other. I've got some Divina cosmetics and stuff like that. One of the few brands that I absolutely will not review on my channel is going to be Juvia's Place, and that's just because I had like about a 6-month battle with them on trying to scam me out of my money and stuff like that, and like a really bad issue with that. And when I looked into that deeper, that like a big old rabbit hole of scamming lots of people type thing. So I'm not keen on that, and that's just why. I mean, their stuff's okay, but I'm just like, I've got a few of their palettes and I'm just not really keen on advertising their stuff, honestly. Like, but I mean, for those of you that haven't had any issues with them, have at it. Their stuff isn't horrible quality. So but yeah, so pretty much any other brand other than that. And I'm not super keen on, I do have some Jeffree Star stuff from forever ago or whatever. I'm not super keen on reviewing that stuff, but I'm okay. I'm okay with, just kind of going over a palette. I definitely would probably prefer to do kind of like a comparison type video with them, like maybe compare a Jeffree Star palette with another palette that has a similar or very same type of shade pick, to kind of be like, hey, this is how this compares up to this, and if you're wanting to look for something that's not Jeffree Star that has similar shades and stuff, here we go type stuff. I think I'd probably be a little more up for that. So, oh, you want to see me do my glitter? I can swatch glitter too. Yeah, go ahead. Like when I end this live here in a second, Bandit, go ahead and leave a comment on that. And if nobody else comments anything, I'll totally, not next week, but the week after, we'll go over some glitter. Like I have a lot of glitter. I have a lot from one specific brand. So maybe we can just, if you do comment that though, if there's a specific, range, like shade range, like if you like reds or warm colors or something like that, comment that, because I have so much. I don't think it'd probably be a good idea to do all of it in one live. I think maybe like a shade range, like warms or reds and yellows or something like that, golds. I have pretty much all the shade ranges, so go ahead and pick that. So you can comment that. Otherwise, and again, if nobody picks anything else, like any other brand or anything for me to review week after this next week, we'll go with the glitters. So, all right. So hopefully you guys liked and enjoyed this video and my other videos. If you haven't taken a look at those, I would definitely love for you to have a look at those. I've got lots of different types of brands that I've gone over, some very high end stuff and some, mid end stuff. And I would definitely eventually get to stuff like ELF that's kind of on the lower end and everything, so that you guys can get a nice wide range. But yeah, if you did like it, I would definitely love it if you liked the video. If you haven't subscribed already, I would very much adore a subscription. I'm trying to get to the 1K mark right there, so that's going to be a long process, I'm sure, but I definitely love that. And if you really enjoyed it or know somebody that is looking at this palette or any of the others that I've reviewed, I definitely appreciate the share, and I'm sure they would as well, being able to see how that works and stuff, since I do very in-depth reviews with these. I know they are very long lives, usually about an hour or so, but a good in-depth review is to me pretty worth it. I know that's what I look for. I really hope for, nice in-depth reviews for things. So yeah, anyway, I am really enjoying these, and I hope to see you guys again next Sunday, same time, same place. And yeah, I'm just really bad at saying goodbye, so bye.